Hi, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science. 5 questions over coffee. Not coffee today for me. I've already had more than enough coffee this today, so I'm just got some water with me. Raj is with me. Raj Goodman Anand is here. Raj runs Goodman Lantern, a specialist in creating content to help businesses sell better and grow faster by creating a really strong brand and establish them as thought leaders in their industries. And I think it's going to be a really fascinating discussion. Really looking forward to spending some time with you today, Raj. Welcome to the 5 questions over coffee.
Thank you, Stuart. I must say I'm not having coffee either, but with the water, it is. And thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to kind of see you and have a chat with you and have a virtual water with you.
No problem. So let's start with the ideal client, Raj, the person that's got the problem that you try to help.
Yeah, so our ideal customer tends to be somebody who is typically a very fast-growing company, potentially just going public very soon, or have raised a lot of cash recently and want to scale up the content um, actions. So maybe they want to grow their SEO, that's their ranking on Google and Bing, etc., etc., or they're looking to kind of tell their story in a better way. So a better content strategy to get the word out there in the form of blogs, website content, white papers, videos, podcasts, whatever that might be. And they come to us to really help them with their tone, their content strategy, their voice, and how to really grow their ranking potentially on Google as well, for example.
So, what are the things they've done before you get involved? What are the mistakes, if you like, that they've done when they've tried to do this for themselves without your help?
Well, it's bizarre. You often think that companies who are doing, 50 million to 10 billion revenue have got it all sorted out, right? But the reality is it's far from where they want to be. So that they, typically when they come to us, they feel that the content is not resonating with the customers, that there's a mismatch or misalignment with their content strategy and where they are currently. The competitors are growing really fast on Google, for instance, or the brand is not strong enough in on overall on digital and in person sort of space, and they need some help to really place the brand properly and equally also get them easily searchable on in different ways, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it is you know Google, as I mentioned before, or there's Twitter. So they want to be found quickly so they can actually convert customers faster. Because this is a time when they're growing super fast and they want to capture more audiences and go ahead of the competition.
And what are the sort of things you help them to do?
So first thing we do is to have a very well defined content strategy. So
Mm.
strategy comes first, is to really understand the tone, the audience, the competitors, to really understand where is that they want to be placed in the comparative landscape, as it were. That's number one. Number two is to figure out what are the objectives for them. Say they work with us for the next 2 3 years, where do they want to be placed at, and how can we help them to achieve that? Number two, after these two strategy part, is to actually create content to help them reach there. So it might be in the form, as I mentioned before, ebooks, white papers, or videos or website content. We will actually help them create these things right from the planning to deciding on the content styles, to write the content, and then help them with distribution. That's number three. So really help them to distribute the content to the press, for example, on or put them out there on the website, for instance, if that's what they want to do, or to revamp their site itself, or to put it out there on YouTube or the other social media channels as well. So we can actually help them do all three parts of them as their content partner.
It's good stuff. So Raj, I guess you've got a lot of experience that you'd like to sort of, pass on to some of the audience listening today, many of whom are probably thinking about some of that stuff. Where can they? And I'm going to show now the website. Is there stuff on your website that you can point to give people a sort of leg up on some of that stuff that they need to be thinking about now about their content strategy?
Absolutely. So if you go to our website, look at the resources, we actually give out a lot of free stuff out there to talk to you about what do you think of strategy in the first place. Like strategy is a very important part. If you have $10 to spend, I say spend the first $5 on strategy. Get that part right. Don't just jump right into it and start to write content or write blog posts. It's not going to help you. Um, Focus on the strategy first. That's the first thing you do. And there's some really interesting guide there about content strategy and how do you think about content strategy, finality, SEO strategy. How do you kind of plan these things step by step? It's for free. You don't need to give your email address either. It's all there on a web page. Go there, click on it, and check it out.
Brilliant. Love that sort of stuff. Is there a particular book or a program or concept that's really inspired you, Raj, that you think is worth giving as a tip to the audience listening today?
Well, a lot of different things, and this I don't know who said this thing, but this is one thing I want to mention. Don't write content for the bots. Don't write content for the algorithm. Don't write content for the AI. Write stuff which is genuinely helpful for your
Right,
target customer.
right.
That's the number one way to rank better. Number one way to build great content is to write for real people, real customers. Solve the bloody pain. And if you do that properly, you will get a ton of customers. I promise you.
I love that, Raj, because I think too often we forget that they're actually human beings at the other side of the screen, don't we? We forget that they're there and ready to read stuff. We sort of, think, well, this will rank higher, but actually, unless you get somebody who clicks on it and looks at it and actually takes action, you could be shouting into a void. I think that's a brilliant tip. Thanks so much for that one. So, I mean, you must be sitting there at the moment thinking to yourself, there's one question that I'm really wishing he would ask me, and so now's the opportunity for me to stop asking you silly questions and get you to ask a good question and then give us the answer of what was that one killer question that you think I should have asked you.
Uh, so I think the question which I'm gonna ask, if Raj was my sort of guest on the show,
One, that's the one.
is that what is the one single thing which Raj did which changed his life for the better as a business person, business owner, a marketing manager, content manager, whatever that is, what that might be. That's the question, and the answer is delegation. Like
I
is
love that. I love
is the
that.
number one thing which has changed my life completely. There's be a time I should run like a headless chicken all the time, like literally just doing everything on my own. But the day I changed my mindset to bring in great people in your team and you delegate them hard, challenging opportunities to kind of deliver to, that's when things change. That's when penny drop for me personally, and it's changed my life, changed my business. And as I was saying earlier, I've been a couple of minutes late. I'm never late for any meeting, but it's because things are really busy right now, and it's only happened because there's just so much on, thanks to the hard work my team puts in, and it's them that's helped me get where I am. So thank you, team, for listening right now.
Yeah, no, I love that tip, Raj. That's a really good one. I think it's a one that so often I say too many business owners, entrepreneurs think to themselves they want to follow the path of least assistance, don't they? They really do, because they think, oh, it's going to be so hard to delegate that because only I can do it. And yet, once you've done it, once it's done once and it's done right, you never have to do it again. And in actual fact, you may find that somebody in your team is actually better at it than you, and they're the people you should be relying on anyway. So absolutely delegate. I love that one, Raj. I really do. Look, Raj, it's been a great pleasure having you on. I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. Thank you so much for the tips on where to go and get some of those really great resources as well. I know I'm going to be sort of diving into that immediately after this. Listen, everyone, look, if you would like to get onto our mailing list so that you hear about great people like Raj coming on and talking to us about these hugely enormous tips and things like that, go to the website below, tca.fyi/subscribe. So that's just a short tca.fyi/subscribe. Get onto the list and allow us to highlight your stuff to people and such like. And please rate and subscribe to the podcast, because we get such a lot of value out of the people that come on. Raj, I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with us this afternoon. I know you're absolutely pushed around. You've got so much to do this afternoon, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending some time, and I wish you all the best with Goodman Lantern, because I think you've got some great stuff. We're going to really enjoy watching and getting onto those resources later on.
Thank you, Stu, for the opportunity, and good to be on.
No problem at all.